I think invention comes out of problem solving, and it doesn't always seem to be something that you set out to do. I think it happens more as a result of working on real world problems and trying to solve them. And if you at least spend a little bit of time thinking about things like inventions and patents and about the need for them, then as you're solving those problems, you kind of try to look back at it and say, hey, there might be something in here that we can patent. There might be an invention in here that in this solution that we came up with for some problem that we happen to be working on. So, it's kind of a cliche to go back to the old saying that necessity is the mother of invention, but I think there's a lot of truth in that. In that it's working on problems and solving things that leads to inventions. That's a very hard problem. I don't. Maybe I'm not going to give you a good answer to that one because I just don't. I don't know that I'm introspective enough to understand what really inspires me. It all depends on when you're working on a problem. And an idea can come to you any time that you're thinking about that problem. So maybe that's when you're in the office sitting with a group of people discussing something. And I think that's actually a very fruitful time, is when you're working with other people. You're sitting around a table or at a whiteboard, you're talking about a problem, you're bouncing ideas off of each other. That's often a very fruitful time for coming up with something new. But you could be driving home and chewing on a problem in your head and come up with something. I tend to find, I don't think ideas come to me just completely random out of the blue when I'm not thinking about the space at all. You sort of have that. There's I think, mythical image of the inventor as the person who was just doing something completely unrelated and saw something. He saw a balloon floating through the sky, and that gave him an idea. I think it's more that you're actually, you're chewing on a problem in your head, and that might lead to something being suggested. I don't know that it's something that you set out to do. I don't come into the office in the morning and say, today I'm going to invent something. I don't think that creative work is like that. I think that creative work is about trying to solve some problem or trying to build something, and then invention comes out of that. And so I guess advice to people would be try to think as broadly as you can about the problems that you're working on, about the things that you're trying to build. And I think my advice to people trying to manage that work is managing creative work is all about getting rid of blockers, right? You can't sit somebody in a room and say, go be creative or go invent something. What you have to do is create an environment where hopefully that will happen. And that means getting rid of things that are in their way. Getting rid of blockers, trying to let them make their own decisions, let them be free to take their problem solving in any direction that it might happen to go. So at least in times when I've been managing people and I want them to be creative, I talk to them about problems. I talk to them about needs. I don't talk to them about solutions and about how to get it done. I don't go to the team and say, go build me a house that looks like this with a foundation and a yard and all that. I go to them and say, we have a bunch of people that need some place to live. What can we do? What can we create for them to do that? As kind of an example. Or we have a bunch of users that have the following set of problems, or customers that have the following set of needs. What do you think we can do? And then try to get things out of their way. I would encourage people to go and to do this. I mean, to go file some patent applications. CA actually makes the process, compared to other places that I've been, compared to being in a startup, CA makes the process really easy. I mean, getting an invention in and then having that go through the patent process there's a lot of support and a lot of people that help you do that here. That in something like a startup, that's not the case. With a startup, you end up doing a lot more of the process yourself, a lot more of writing the application, and even if you have attorneys helping you, there's a lot of people here at CA that can help you do it. So it's easy. So I think everybody that's doing anything, even remotely technical, should be looking back at their work and at least once in a while take a look at what you're doing and say, is there something I'm doing in here that's unique and that is maybe a little different from the way this has been done in the past? And if there is, file an IDF.